All right, guys, welcome back to yet another podcast. I'm here with Patrick, and we are here about to witness the most anticipated game of the round of 16 and what is arguably the best fixture in this season so far. Real Madrid versus Manchester City at the Santiago Bernabeu. Obviously, this is a Bernabeu night and it's going to be sick. And as the away team here, I'd like to ask Patrick. We're going to start off with Patrick, and I'm going to ask him how City is going to line up on the eve of this fixture. How do you see City performing against Real Madrid, and how do you believe that Man City might probably get their dub against Real Madrid?
Okay, thank you. Look, basically, what I'm thinking is we've had bad luck in the Champions League, you know yourself. And
Yes,
to be honest with you, it's been one of the most painful things, especially for me as a fan. But
yes,
you do know yourself, the other fans, they do believe that because back in the days we were not a big team, they believe, oh, Champions League doesn't mean anything. But I think most of them are starting to see the importance of it. First of
yes,
all, um, it's an honor to play you guys. You guys have won it 13 times. So you have
yes,
way, way better than some of us. But
yeah,
I think Pep, right?
yeah,
He has to not overthink this because
hmm,
the first game he decided to rest De Bruyne and Sane and put them on the bench in the first leg because of overthinking things. Then,
yes,
if you talk about the Liverpool game, he decided to go with about five midfielders in midfield. He didn't just stick to what worked throughout the season. So I think in this game, maybe he's learned his lesson. Maybe the players have also learned their lessons. And I think we're going to go to this game with a different mindset. We're going to
yeah.
go there to attack. That's what Pep is good for. So that's what I think we're going to approach. Basically, the lineup, I hope, just stays the same, to be honest with you.
I mean, we'll get to the lineup for sure, but I mean, when you did quote that, yes, Manchester City has had that, ounce of bad luck when it comes to the Champions League. We've seen it last season as well. Last season was a vivid example of what bad luck means to Manchester City, to be honest. Yeah, because literally Raheem Sterling's goal VAR ruling it out is the most painful thing you can watch, and that too at stoppage time. So that is like that'll make you go. That's so ridiculous to even think about for someone for something like that to happen to you. So yeah. So again, yeah. So yeah, coming to the lineup, what do you see? How do you see Manchester City lining up against a big team like Real Madrid?
Look, as I said before, I think they should not overthink it this time. So a
Mhm.
simple 4-3-3, I think, would be the best to go with this game.
Yeah.
Um, Let me just show you here. I don't know if I am
Yes,
I
I'll. Yeah.
are you able to? Yeah, there we go. So you see, what I'm looking for myself is keep it simple, man. Don't destroy the winning formula. But to be
Yeah.
honest, just give me a minute also here. This
One would wonder, why are you going for Mares instead of Bernardo Silva? One
uh,
would wonder why you'd be doing that.
yeah, just give me here. Let me just show you. This is what exactly I think I would do.
Okay.
Okay,
So
Maris
no David Silva,
David Silva. No, I know that before I decided to put him in, but
but
I've just changed.
he brings in loads and loads of experience into this fixture. I mean, he
Man, look, go back to history. What has David Silva ever done in the Champions League? Like, look, I respect him. He is one of the best players that has ever worn the shirt. You know what I
yes,
mean? But
and as someone who supports City, David Silva has done bits for Manchester City in the past.
what
But
about the Champions League, though?
yeah, the Champions League. I mean, well, you could see individually. I do not know how each player has performed for Manchester City on a, on a Champions League outlook. But what I would say is that again, if you want to beat, see Real Madrid, what are they going in with here? They're purely banking on experience here. Again,
Yeah,
if you'd like look at Real Madrid as a team this time, to be honest, if they didn't have that whole historical glory of the Champions League behind with them, probably one would not even include Real Madrid as a potential competitor for the Champions League. But what I would say is that, why not beat experience with experience? But now again, having said that, Ajax did a madness last season, and Ajax had literally no experience in that team.
It's
Literally, it was just
kids,
literally
man.
it was just
Kids.
schooling. They were just schooling Real Madrid last season. That, especially the Bernabeu game in which they scored 4 goals, that was pure obliteration. So having said that, even the alternative might work as well. But yeah, coming back to your lineup, why Bernardo Silva for David Silva?
Okay, so basically, do you watch? You watch the Premier League, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, the game versus Liverpool where we won 2-1.
Mm-hmm.
Bernardo Silva was essential to that win. He was running non-stop. He ran non-stop. I
Yes,
think
yes.
he also
I
broke a
remember.
record during that game. They're like, oh, there's a record of a player to run. He was everywhere. That's what he does. He's just an engine. He's just a little engine, and he just runs and runs. Why I'm
Mhm.
saying this is Modric is somebody like David Silva. They keep the ball. They take their time.
Yes,
It's
they're
get the
very good. They're very good when it comes to the skill of having the ball retention. They have good ball retention skills. So yeah, that's where probably David Silva is really good at.
Yeah, and it works with deep block, deep block defense. People who go back and just sit back. Silva and Modric are very good in that. But I think
Mhm.
this game, Modric being slow, like I've seen in a few
Yes,
games,
yes,
I
that
think
is true. That is true. That is true. Yeah.
I know it's hard to press him. Don't get me wrong. It's hard to press David
Yes.
Silva, but
Yeah.
get another Silva on him and press him. I think it will not give him more time to think of the pass he has to give. You know that nice pass they always have. So having Bernardo Silva and Kevin De Bruyne are full of energy because Rodri is slow. I don't know how he was doing in La Liga, but in the Premier League he looks very slow. A lot of counters, he's been left behind, and you're like, what the hell, man? Catch up. So I think he's getting used to speed. So in this game, Rodri maybe might be perfect, but I think De Bruyne and Bernardo Silva being in front of him might actually help him. That's
Yes,
why,
I think
yeah,
I think that would be like a positive addition as well, because since Manchester City, what I predict from this game, how Manchester City might play it out, is they'll start with the constant pressing. They'll literally go for the kill, is what I think. They'll not look back. They'll not be on the back foot. That's what they wouldn't want when they're playing away from home. They literally go for the kill, and that's what I predict. And they'll just press and press and press and press, and they'll try to again put a lot of pressure, and that's where the young and the fast ones come into play. So again, I can see why Bernardo Silva is a better pick to David Silva, who's probably slow, in your opinion, to Manchester City, and particularly Pep Guardiola's game here. So yes, yeah, as you were saying, continue.
okay. So basically, as you could see, if we have him and De Bruyne, as I said, that would be speed. Preston would be well. Uh,
Mhm.
I I know Pep Guardiola loves Raheem. A lot of people think that Raheem is not going to play, but he loves him and he always throws him in every game, no matter what injury he has. Uh,
Mhm.
so having Mahrez and Raheem and on the counter and having the passing of De Bruyne, I think we will actually do very well. I think I don't know if you've known about Mahrez. He's one of those wingers that you can never predict what he's going to do, but he's
Yes.
also becoming he's connecting very well these days with De Bruyne, and I think
Yeah.
that's going to help us a lot. As you can see, as I'm talking the whole time, I'm actually not talking much about Aguero.
Yes,
Aguero's
that's what I was waiting, because we have we can literally, like, we have alternatives as well. I mean, you have Gabriel Jesus, who can play in Aguero's position, and it's not a bad pick as well. Gabriel Jesus can come handy for sure, and I mean, so why Aguero instead of Gabriel Jesus?
look. I think I know that Jesus is good at pressing. It also depends on what Pep is looking for. You've just said yourself that maybe might press you, but Aguero has changed his game these days. He's actually playing like let's say he's playing more of like an all-round player instead of just being a striker. I think that was one of the issues he had and the meeting he had with Guardiola when he first came to England. But the
Right.
reason why I have Aguero is experience. You talked about experience, David Silva. I think regardless of the fact that we've got few experienced people, it's still worth it to have Aguero there. I know he hasn't done well in the championship. I know there's memes and names saying he's a Premier League legend. I know a lot of people say
Mhm.
that, but
Yes.
Aguero is Aguero. You never know. Give him half a chance, he might score.
Aguero is gonna pop out of nowhere. I mean, you can't really predict what Aguero can actually produce on the day. I mean, I'll admit that Aguero has not had significant impact when it comes to the Champions League, especially for the caliber that he has. He hasn't really, you know, been the Aguero. I mean, the Premier League Aguero in the Champions League when it comes to, that when you go for the kill, Aguero hasn't, really been, really evident on those kind of occasions. But
Yeah,
having said that, Aguero is Aguero again, and anything can happen. So
yeah,
yeah.
that's why I picked him. It's just that I do know Gabriel Jesus is works very hard. He presses very well, but I
Hmm.
think, as we say, Aguero is Aguero. Whether he doesn't do well in the World Cup, as many people say, or the tournaments in South America, I still think he can pop up with a big goal for a big game. So that's basically why, and I'm pretty sure right now, as we're talking, you're busy looking at that defense and wondering why Fernandinho is the one
Yeah.
next to Laporte instead of
Yeah.
Stones.
So I really wanted to ask something about your defense that you've selected. So now, yeah, I mean, you watch a lot of Manchester City games, obviously.
Yeah,
So if you actually like notice, you see that you have a very high backline. Your backline is always up high
yeah,
most of the time because of the way they play. They press, they counter press. They're always on the pressing. So with a very high backline, why do you think that Fernandinho should start instead of someone like John Stones? Because no, we know no. John Stones was injured, right? I mean, he was injured for quite a lot of time.
he was
I
injured.
get that. I get that for sure. But
Games, few
I
games.
get that for sure. But again, like see, Manchester City this season has now, I think, is the only team that has less goals than uh, Paris Saint Germain across all competitions. I mean, when I say all competitions, all the leagues, I think Manchester City has scored the most goals after PSG. So with a they're blessed with an amazing offensive, lineup. But
That's true.
when it comes to their defensive organizations, that's where they've slipped up, and that's where I think they've lost, their chances on getting the title again. So I think when it comes to that, now this is a game where you have to be extremely clinical. And why play someone shaky like Fernandinho instead of John Stones for an important fixture like that, even though he's just recovered from an injury?
I think uh, I think Pep likes it, man. People have asked him this question that many times. They've asked him at the interviews. Uh,
Yeah.
all he says is, "I'm gonna play him there," basically telling us that Fernandinho will never play as DM again. I don't
Hmm.
agree with it. I'm pretty sure a lot of people are surprised when they see this, but I think he doesn't trust
No,
Otamendi.
I won't be surprised. I won't be surprised at all because Fernandinho has been taking that position for a while. But what I'm saying is that if you're going against one of the best, you have to be, defensively equipped as well. Is what I'm, just going for as as someone else. But yeah, since you say that, but what does Fernandinho actually bring to this Manchester City lineup?
I think first of all, it brings leadership, and I think defensive awareness. Like, let me,
Mhm.
and this is going to be a simple answer to why John Stones and Otamendi are behind him. I think he's more calm in defense, and you wouldn't just push him off the ball. Like you've seen multiple times, Otamendi just goes in for the tackle, gets
Mhm.
pushed off the ball. The same as John Stones, the Liverpool game. I remember 2 years ago, he got pushed by Firmino just that easy, and that's how the whole defense just went bad. Again, John Stones, there was a defensive issue he had where he was pushed again in the Monaco game by Mbappe, who was like 17 or 16, I think so.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. That's
Like,
true. Yeah.
like I like John Stones and Otamendi, like I've done so well for us, but I don't think if Man City ever had a chance to buy a new defender, they would delay. They wouldn't delay for one bit. They'll buy one that has to play with Laporte and Otamendi and John Stones. would be given the option to be third. It's just that
Mhm.
Fernandinho has good defensive awareness. He reads the game very well, better than both of them, and he brings in experience. And one more thing that Pep Guardiola likes about Fernandinho, he's able to see a pass from defense.
Yeah, he reads in between the lines quite well.
Yeah,
Yes.
like
Yeah.
he has passes that break the lines, and it's something that I think Pep enjoys. Remember, Pep converted a midfielder into a defender. Is it Mascherano or something? It was Mascherano, isn't it? He did
Yes.
in Barcelona. He took him from defense midfielder. He was a midfielder into a defender. So I think it's something that Pep likes. I think if Pep had the choice, he'd play midfielders for the whole team because I
Yeah.
think he is so passionate about midfielders, especially intelligent midfielders like Fernandinho. So that's why I think Fernandinho is being put there, and that's what he brings to the team.
Yeah, I mean, clearly, I mean, we could probably argue about, maybe John Stones having the better defensive capabilities, but maybe what Fernandinho brings to this game is by far outweighing what John Stones might bring to this game. So clearly, I mean, we can see why Fernandinho is a viable option, if you ask me. But I also wanted to address this one thing about your lineup. So Kyle Walker, he's at right back position.
Yeah.
So now now let me come from what I think. I'm not so sure whether if it's going to be that way. I don't really know. But what I think what Real Madrid will do for this game is approach with a 4-5-1. When I say 4-5-1, not exactly 4-5-1 as well, but what I'm saying is that they'll start without wingers. They'll start without probably Vinicius and Bale on the right or whatever. I
Yeah.
don't think they'll start with wingers. That's what I feel.
Yeah.
I'll come to that. I'll come to that explanation to why they might not start as with wingers. Now, uh, when you have Kyle Walker, who's a fast guy. He's
Yeah.
quite physical.
Yeah.
He's quite physical, and he can get on in one-on-one situations. He can do that. He's a really skilled and equipped defender like that. So he can come really handy when it comes to stopping, pacey wingers like Vinicius.
Yeah.
But having said that, if I'm not going to start wingers like Vinicius, which I feel will happen,
Mhm.
why can't you play Cancelo instead, who's a better passer of the game, in my opinion? I mean, there has to be like a viable explanation to why Kyle Walker is chosen for Cancelo.
Uh, as we this is also this is going to answer two questions for you. First of all, you talked about the high line, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure Zidane is trying to take advantage of that, and
Yes.
every team always takes advantage of that. Now, having Kyle Walker there, he helps out somebody like Fernandinho, who's not that fast, in case somebody breaks through. I saw
Okay.
this. I saw this in the game versus Leicester City with Vardy. When
Was this the 2-2-1? The 2-2-1?
no, the recent one, the 1-0 one, I saw it with Vardy.
Oh,
He
right, right. Yeah, 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 okay, yeah, yeah,
Kyle
yeah.
Walker
Totally,
was staying a bit closer. But
yeah.
then I think when Vardy breaks, Kyle Walker was also going back to sort of try to help him. Because yes, Fernandinho is fast, but he's not that fast. So if you put
Okay.
somebody fast on Fernandinho,
Yeah,
yes,
Fernandinho is what, 34 or 35 years old?
34, I think, or 34,
34, yeah.
so you look, some of these new kids these days, they'll embarrass an experienced player. We've seen it before. They will leave him for dead. So Walker is that's what he's there for. Cancelo, I've watched him in games. He looks fast, but Walker is Walker. Like the guy
Mhm.
is 7 years old, turning 28, but he still has the speed. If it was up to me, this is just something else I was thinking. I could have trained Walker at
Mhm.
the stage he is in to be playing as a centre back at the right
Oh,
hand side.
okay. I
I could have.
mean, you don't think he'll perform up high on the pitch? Don't you think he'll do well there? I mean, obviously, he's really fast. I mean, he can track back. He can track back and he can do all of that. Fine. But again, I mean, can he actually do well as a center back?
Yeah, I think he can. He's played in a pair of three at the back in for England. I
Mm-hmm.
remember when Trent was playing, they were playing as wing back, and he was three. John Stones was the third one on the down the middle. Maguire was right at the left. I think we should have done that. That's what everybody was saying. I think a lot of City fans were like, why doesn't he put Walker there? But as I
Yeah.
told you, it comes back to Pep. He loves midfielders. He would rather put De Bruyne or Rodri. He put
Yeah.
Rodri already in defense. So I think Walker is useful for counter attacks because he's fast. I've never seen Cancelo.
Yeah.
I've watched Cancelo. I've
So.
never seen him run back. I know he's very good. He can beat a man. I have seen that before, where he dribbles and he's got great passing range. But I think in this game he's gonna go with Walker, and I would go with Walker because he's gonna help Fernandinho with tracking back. And Cancelo, we usually
Yeah.
play. And another thing, just to answer your question there, we usually play Cancelo if we know the teams are gonna sit back. Like they're not gonna attack
Okay.
us, sit back because he
You
can.
need to. You need to when like probably someone like Manchester United. Probably they'll just sit at the back and
Yeah,
they're not going to confront. They're just going to score and they're just going to sit at the back. They're not going
yeah,
to do anything.
they always wait for mistakes so they can counter. That's what
Yeah.
they always do. That's why that's why Walker would be there. He would be helpful for Fernandinho in case let's say they put somebody so fast
Yeah.
against him. So he would help out when to just break out counters, and that's the reason why I put him there.
hmm
I don't know who Zidane is going to play because I'm starting to think in my
Yeah.
head.
I'll get to that. I'll get to that. And again, now Patrick, it's time to change your lineup because the lineup has just come and Gabriel Jesus is in the lineup in the starting 11 now. So yeah, so
So
Gabriel Jesus is in the starting 11
is he?
and the center backs are Laporte and Otamendi. So
No
so
way.
this is interesting. This is
So who?
interesting. So because you thought Fernandinho would start, but it's not Fernandinho, it's Otamendi, and
Still,
the midfield goes with you know you have Gabriel Jesus playing in the middle, Bernardo Silva, and you have De Bruyne, Mahrez, Gundogan, and Rodrigo. As your
I,
midfield here.
I knew.
So Man City have gone with something interesting here, if you'd ask me.
Yeah, that's actually.
So I
Oh,
mean, now given that Man City is clearly approaching this in a very different manner. Now I think we have to address the situation now in a different manner as well,
yeah.
considering that now that we know what the lineup is. So
That's.
considering this lineup now, what do you think Man City will do?
Yeah, just bear with me here for a minute. It's just.
Yeah, 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 yeah. It's all cool.
Let's just try. Okay, there we go. You wanna try
Yes,
share that? That's the new. Okay, there we go. Okay, let's see now. So we've got
that's
just
weird. That's weird.
Laporte and Jesus. He's trusting. Oh, I know why he might have Otamendi. Uh, Set pieces, headers, physicality against Benzema. I think that's
Yeah,
what he's looking for.
maybe. Yeah, yeah. Because yeah, I think it makes sense. I think it
Okay,
makes a lot of
so
sense.
I'm not very impressed with Gundogan, but I did say to many people, Pep will find a way to put Gundogan in the lineup. That will happen. Okay, so he's decided to drop Raheem, Aguero, Silva, Fernandinho, Cancelo, Foden. So basically, most of the experience is on the bench.
Yes.
Interesting. So we're going towards youth and speed.
Yeah,
Okay.
and that's what I mean. Probably that will help you press a lot more. That'll help you like literally that literally provoke Man City to go for the kill right from the very first minute.
Yeah,
So
I saw a bit of a smile on your face when you saw Jesus instead of Aguero, as if it's like, oh, maybe at least I'm pretty sure. I don't know how. Let's say Ramos is sitting down right now and looking at that tonight I'm gonna go against
yeah,
Jesus. Think this kid is too fast for me, or is he thinking, thank God, at least I don't have to deal with Aguero and his movements. You know what I mean? But I think I
yeah,
like you know, that's the same lineup minus Aguero that played against Leicester City, by the way.
oh.
Yeah, that's the same
Okay.
lineup. I think. Oh yeah, you can also. Yeah, that's the same lineup. I'm pretty sure was
Hmm.
Maris played against Leicester. Yeah, they did. That's the same lineup. Just Aguero missing. That's the same lineup that played against Leicester City for the 1-0. Yeah, they did well. They were not that bad. Um, I'm very surprised he's dropped Fernandinho again because he
Yeah.
dropped him. Yeah, he dropped him in the Leicester game. Is there a reason? There might be a reason why. Maybe if he sees Rodri suffering or struggling, he's gonna throw Fernandinho in there. To be honest with you, if you look at our bench, there's nobody who can play in defense. Stones has been left. Garcia has been left. So only defender or somebody who can play in defense is Fernandinho apart from
Mm.
the center, who's obviously there to replace Walker or Mende in case something happens. Mm.
Right.
Very,
So
very
I mean,
surprised lineup. Yeah,
like, so we've had like the City talk. I think I'd like to go to the Real Madrid talk now. So
yeah.
I'd
Go
like
ahead.
to,
Is
yeah,
your has your lineup come in yet?
yeah, it has. So I'm gonna share my screen right away now.
Go ahead. Yeah, it's about time we understand your view on this.
Yes.
Yeah.
1 second. So yeah, this was something which I kind of predicted, but you know what? I'll just share one of these once we get to it. So what I see here is, I see Courtois, Carvajal. The back four is all, it's all good. I don't see any problem with that. I did predict though that we would go with a 4-5-1.
Wow.
But clearly it's not a 4-5-1 here. But if you actually think about it, we defend in a 4-5-1 with the team we have right now. And if you actually think about it, we offensively we go on 4-4-2 with probably Vinicius Junior, playing a bit out wide because of his speed. So and Karim Benzema probably, staying in the middle as usual.
Hmm.
I can see why Forlan Mendy was picked instead of Marcelo, because Marcelo has been slow lately, and he's not, when it comes to his defensive game, it's not really up there. If you ask me nowadays, offensively, he's still, for me, among fullbacks, he's still one of the best, like
Yeah,
undisputed kind of player.
I
But when it
respect him.
comes to
Respect to him. Yeah.
when it comes to his defensive game, Marcelo has gone down like significantly. I've seen his game going down recently. He doesn't track back as well. He does. I mean, it's his age. His age is catching up to him anyway. So
How
I
old is
think
he?
someone like Forlan Mendy, it would be like really, really good, is what I feel. And obviously, Isco playing that number 10 role behind the striker, so that will help. Real Madrid, keep a lot of possession. See, what I visualized for this game was to have a lot of midfielders, but
Yeah,
like,
everybody said that. ESPN said that.
yeah,
Mm.
to have a lot of midfielders for this game. But what I do see is that, like, probably when it comes to the ball retention skills and everything,
Mm.
Real Madrid could actually try and, keep possession, keep passing the ball around, and, trying initiating an attack from there. So that would like really be a good one. But what really surprised me here in this lineup was the omission of Cruz. There's no Cruz in this lineup actually.
Oh
So
yeah, he's on
yeah,
the. Oh
there's
my
no
God,
Cruz.
he's on the bench.
Yeah, he's on the bench. So that this is what really surprised me. I don't know what Zinedine Zidane is going for here, because he has Modric, Isco, and probably we
Oh, really?
Cruz is probably like one of the best deep lying playmakers, if you ask me.
Mm.
And to not have Tony Cruz, it's a really, really a surprise for me, because what I felt that we'd play with five midfielders, including Cruz, and we'd play with just Benzema up front. But Vinicius Junior playing out wide. I thought what I thought was we'd play with Vinicius Junior as soon as if it's still nil nil. If it's still
Mm.
nil nil, there's
Yeah,
no
for him to
real.
be fired, yeah, makes
We aren't
sense.
really. able to create the chances that we want to. If there comes a situation like that where we want to have chances where it's like an actual goal scoring chance, and we can actually pull the trigger and finish it. If it comes down to that, I thought probably then from a 4-5-1 we might switch to a 4-3-3,
Yeah.
and probably we'd get Lucas Vasquez in or Bale in on the right, or you know um, uh, uh, Vinicius on the left. So I thought we'd approach like that, but this is a very strange one if you ask me. But yeah, anyway, I'm gonna stop sharing my screen right now. So
That's
so this is what I think. I mean, it's like leaving out Cruz is like one of the most surprising things I've seen so far. And maybe this is a 4-4-2 for sure. This is a 4-4-2 diamond, if you ask me.
yeah.
uh, this is a 4-4, this is like a proper 4-4-2 diamond. But one thing that what surprises me again, well, I wouldn't say surprise, but could have gone for another alternative, is that probably Bale could have been played. Now, having said that, Bale has not been on the best form of his life, because he literally has been skipping match day by match day. And when it comes when it's his time to play, he doesn't really show up, and which is really frustrating for for us fans. We are always getting pissed off when we look at Bale. He shows no intent. He has no pride in wearing that badge. So I mean, but again, I can't really ignore the experience that Bale brings into this game.
Mm.
I Bale starting, a lot of people thought would have been a surprise. He didn't start anyway, but for me, it wouldn't have definitely not been a surprise, because I actually thought there's a teeny tiny possibility that Bale might actually start.
Mm.
But yeah, I don't know, man. We should see. But how I predict this game to go is Manchester City starting off with a high press, and considering that they've deployed all the young guns out there, that's what they'll probably wanting to do. And you also have Modric, so they'll be on Modric for sure. We already have Modric in the lineup as well. So yeah, it'll be an interesting one. Now, tell me, with the lineup we see right now, what do you see? What do you see Man City doing early on? Like the first half, what do you see Man City doing?
I think it's what you predicted, and somehow you predicted it. You said we're gonna go straight on, right
Yeah,
in
that's
your
what I
face.
think.
But and I can see from that lineup, you can see it's right in your face, pressing, and Bernardo Silva with Gabriel Jesus pressing you is actually hard because if you look at them, they will press you all day. They will go at you all day, and I think
Hmm.
if you set as a counter, I would trust Bernardo Silva and Gabriel Jesus to track back and help out.
Hmm.
Then I would trust someone like, believe it or not, I'm going to bring him in, Sane
Hmm.
or Aguero. Yes, Aguero just tracks back, but for him to track back as much as those two, I don't think so.
Yeah,
Uh, I I think
but having said that, Sane is injured, isn't he? Sane is still
he
not back yet.
he's been training with the squad, but I don't think they want to throw him yet. He might be there for the second leg. Uh,
Maybe.
But what I can see also, you have to watch that. He wants to keep control of the ball in midfield by having Gundogan in there. Have you noticed that he's in there because he wants Gundogan and De Bruyne, like especially Gundogan, who keeps the ball. He wants him
Yeah.
to keep the ball and break the lines. That's what I think his aim is. As I say, that's the same lineup against Leicester. Leicester, who have got a very good midfield. The
Yes.
new midfield for Leicester is very good. I know Wilfred Ndidi has been missing there and it's been tough for them, but it's similar. I think that's the approach is going with you guys. And as I said, Modric versus David Silva was going to be fascinating because
I don't know. It's really interesting. Really interesting, if
both
you
of
ask
them are
me.
the same player. They have time on the ball. But I
Yeah.
think this game shows that there's a bit of respect because I know every time he plays Gundogan, it's because he wants a bit of defense, but he also wants a bit of control in the midfield.
Yeah,
Uh,
Gundogan is like he's like a really special player, if you ask me. Like I felt that he still needs to live up to his fullest potential. I think there's still that gap that he needs to fill. The sad thing is, like in the past few Champions League seasons, he displays one of the best performances of his career, and the next thing you know, he gets injured. So
yeah, yeah, that,
that's so
you,
unfortunate. I mean, for players like Gundogan, because we know what he can do on his night. Where he, you know what he can bring to the table when he's enjoying a very good game. So it's a shame that sometimes players like him can't live up to that potential. But again, having said that, I'm not saying that he's finished or anything. That's too much of an overstatement. But
Yeah.
Gundogan again, it'll be really interesting to see what he actually brings to this game.
What about
So
yourself? What about yourself there, Madrid? Because that Bell has been left. I know with the golf thing.
uh,
If it was a city player and he starts doing that, play
it's
golf,
it's so
golf
it's
is
so sickening, man. It's so sickening because the thing is, uh I would like, as a fan, we can we talk about transfers, and we complain about not having this player, not having that player. We have that frustration at so many times about not having particular players. But there comes a time where you lose your shit and everything, and little you come to a stage where you can't tolerate. And this is the stage which Real Madrid is in right now, with Bale especially. What I see with this Bale situation is that I'd rather have someone who is not as skilled as him, but
Mm,
who puts double the work, instead of having someone like him. That's what every state of mind that a Real Madrid fan is in right now. They just want him out. Because the thing is, he doesn't even really show intent to reserve his place. Most, as a football player, he comes through the ranks. He obviously, to secure a starting lineup spot in a team like Real Madrid, it's not the most easiest job. And it's not only Real Madrid, but in
it's a
general,
heavy job. Yeah. It's
in
heavy.
a
That
big
your
yeah
budget is heavy. Yeah.
in a big team, it's not the most easiest thing you can imagine to do. And for someone like Bale to actually like treat this as a one timer, a chance, he just comes to the field and he shows no intent whatsoever to actually reserve this spot and say, yes, this is mine, this is my team, this is how I'm going to do things. There's no intent from him. So I don't know, man. I mean, when that Wales goal Madrid thing, all that stuff happened, I was literally so pissed that I wanted him out, like, right away. Like, like, a very pissed. I was really pissed watching all of that.
How did he survive that though? Like
Yeah,
how?
I mean, he somehow he did, man. That really surprised me as well. But yeah, now we know that going into this game, this is the first Champions League game that Man City is playing after the whole ban thing erupted recently. So the whole UEFA ban that City has received.
Oh yeah.
Now we're not going to discuss who's right and who's wrong. Whatever is going to happen is going to happen.
Mm.
But do you think this ban will affect Manchester City as a team? Their mindset, will it affect it? Because this is probably their last Champions League in 2 years, right? I mean, they have appealed. They have appealed. I think today they have submitted a report for the appeal.
The
But
cup.
do you think that this ban affects their mindset? Because players can say all day, man. The players can say, Guardiola can say, they can say all day that, oh no, this is just a regular Champions League game for us. This is just the ban doesn't really affect us. We're here to win a game. Okay, I mean, that mindset for the press and everything, to tell them and all, it's fine. But do you think a ban like this actually affects them?
I think we're gonna find out. Like you've just hit the nail on the head.
Mm.
Players, Guardiola, everybody, the fans will say, "Oh, this is nothing. That's not." But I think we're gonna find out today because I hear the rumors are saying when this ban came through, they had a meeting and Pep said, "This is the time we're gonna prove that it's just not money players. That we're not
Mm.
here for money. We're here to do business." So
Yeah,
basically,
like,
I think
that's
today
what I
is the
felt as
day.
well. Because that's what I felt as well. Because I thought when this ban everything erupted, I thought that, okay, now Manchester City are here to prove a point,
Mm,
and maybe this might be their last Champions League in what, 2 years.
yeah,
So I thought they'll come out with a lot more intent than they actually do, because this is like a do or die situation for them. They need to pull the trigger. If they don't, it's not going to be pretty for them. It's not really going to be a smooth sail for them, to be honest. So yeah, I mean, what was your reaction when the ban thing erupted? I mean, we're not going to talk about who's wrong and who's right, but
Yeah,
everything will be decided there and there itself.
no,
I mean,
some
as a fan, it must have affected you to not see your team play the Champions League. It's actually so, yeah, it's actually so saddening to watch something like that. I mean,
yeah.
tell me your thoughts, man.
Okay, basically, this is the thing. I'm going to tell you the thought from, let's say, basic, like, let's say the whole City fan base.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Obviously, there is a City fan base that, in the past, even myself included, there was a time when we couldn't qualify for the Champions League, even if we wished to. We had
Mm-hmm.
coaches like Mark Hugh. I don't know how he ended up.
Yeah. Yeah.
That one of them was that former coach who used to coach England.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like we never for once thought we were going to be in the Champions League, and Man City never for once thought they're going to play Premier League football or become champions or compete with clubs like Man United, Liverpool, and teams like Newcastle, Leeds were actually big teams that time.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so you must know this, right? And this is just giving you two versions. There's two types of fans. I said this already. There's the OGs. These are the ones who obviously are older generation. They don't really get phased by the Champions League. They appreciate the fact that Man City has moved from what they were to who they
Mm-hmm.
are right now. Because most of them never thought in their lifetime they'll ever see Man City play the Champions League or Man City be dominant in England
Yeah,
or
when it comes to that, Man City has definitely taken a long route to come here. They've not, they've not, done this overnight. It actually took a process. Now, as long as like people can sit at home and talk about Man City being what an oil money team or whatever like that, it's not really, it doesn't really happen overnight. Because 2008 was when the sheikh came to Man City,
Hmm.
and since then you guys have taken a long journey to come here. It's not really something that happened overnight, where you just bought some players and the next thing you're holding the Champions League trophy. In fact, you're still waiting for that moment to come for you. So when it comes down to that, I think Man City has definitely played their fair share part of sacrifice here when it comes to waiting in terms of time, the time that they've sacrificed as fans.
I think another thing is us succeeding is the curse. You must remember this. I don't know if you're aware of this. There's
Hmm.
the big boys, right? They eat at the big boys' table. And this is the group of teams that uh, obviously created this FFP rules and they eat at the table. And the rumors are, and obviously what is said in the streets and everywhere in the news, it said this group of teams, when they made those rules, they made sure that somebody from outside mustn't come in and knock them off the table. You know what I mean? I'm not going to
Yeah,
mention
yeah, yeah.
names or anything, but it's normal, man. If I if I was a rich man right now, I would make rules in the country. It happened in my country also back home where rich people make these deals or votes, they vote certain people so it can benefit themselves. I'm not trying to accuse anybody, but I'm just saying I think teams like PSG and Man City uh, surprised most of these big boys. Like
Hmm.
they thought, I think when it started, they were like, go ahead. There's no way. There's
Yeah,
no way you're going to compete or take anything, which is true. None of us compete. PSG and Man City haven't won the Champions League.
yeah.
Uh, we haven't reached that potential, but I think these big boys are more scared to say, if these guys click, they
Hmm.
might actually become trouble. We can see an example like if you look at the committee for this year, as you said, we're not going to go in details who's guilty or anything. If you look at the
Hmm.
committee there, it's made out of representatives from big teams. I see there's an ex guy from this team, there's an ex guy from this team. Yet
Hmm.
you won't find anybody else outside the big five, I call them, in that
Yeah,
committee
yeah, yeah.
to make the decisions. So basically, uh, most of the City fans, let me just be honest with you. When I heard this, I was at work and people were making fun of me, and I was trying to be strong, but it still
Right.
hit me. I was like, oh shit, 2 years, 2 years without Champions League. I was like, that's a long time. I
That's a
was,
long time, and you've also waited as well. It's not like
yeah,
and the thing is, Man City have gone out of the Champions League, having not fulfilled the potential, because we all know Man City can do better than that. And I'm not even saying this, first thing first. Let me be honest. I'm not really a big fan of Man City, but
no, yeah,
yeah, but I'm not going to not admit that Man City actually stands a chance at proving something. They can prove a point. They're a team who can actually prove a point. And it's a shame because now this 2-year ban is going to affect them massively. And when they do get eliminated, I mean, even if they don't, or win the Champions League eventually, this will take a toll on them. The best result they can get from this is win the Champions League altogether. And that's a long route from here. We're still in February, and that happens in May. So February to May, a lot of things can change. So I'm just really curious, if anything, when it comes to what Man City can actually do as a team together. And yeah, this is what I'm curious about. Now, coming back to this game against Real Madrid, uh like, when it comes to this game, and what do you see, what's your prediction essentially? What do you think will be the result?
oh, I've been thinking.
You're playing away from home, and let me tell you, as a Real Madrid fan, so there's this thing with Real Madrid fans. We are not the best fans. I'm going to tell you this. We're not, I'm going to tell this right here and right now.
Uh,
We are not the best fans you can ever find. Because the thing is, we we show a lot of tough love. Now you can back that for certain reasons. You can say this is right, this is wrong. I mean, you'll have your own reasoning for that. But when thinking about it, if you actually think about it, sometimes you think that, oh, this tough love actually should work, because that's how you get your team going. And with someone with a lot of pride like Real Madrid, they always want their team on their toes always. So for someone like Real Madrid, where if you play real conservative football, if you don't really go for the kill, they won't like it, and they'll start whistling. And when you're playing at home, it's not the best thing you can do.
yeah.
It's not really a great thing for a home side to do that, and not the best for Real Madrid at all. In no way Real Madrid can do that. So what I predict is that Real Madrid is going to do that, but is probably going to be vulnerable because of their slight slight transition in trying to be offensive. And this is where Man City might actually cash everything. Probably Man City is not going to press at the Bernabeu like they press at home, because there's this whole mindset change again. So keeping all of these factors in mind, what do you see Man City doing, and why? I mean, what do you see Man City? I mean, what's your prediction for this game, and why do you think that's the prediction?
For me, to be honest with you, it's since the time when we got the draw, I've been thinking about it. As I said, I was confident at a point in time. Then this
I
morning,
would
we
say,
just
to be honest, I would say the tables have massively turned since the draw. Because at the draw, Man
that's a
City was.
that's a lie. I think that's something people are saying, but Real Madrid,
Okay,
Real
let me
Madrid.
tell what I think. Let me tell what I think. So what I think is that when the draw happened, people expected Man City to just do it with a snap of their finger. Man City was here probably, because
Yeah,
it was not the time also where Man City was slipping. They were all right. I mean, they were doing good, if not excellent, but they were doing good. Meanwhile, on the other hand, Real Madrid started their amazing run of form from December to February. Now, this is another issue that Real Madrid recently slipped against Celta Vigo and Levante. So that's a different issue altogether. And even they lost the Copa del Rey fixture against Real Sociedad. Now, keeping that in consideration,
mm,
December to February, Real Madrid actually played some good football. Now people are
excellent
actually
football.
Yeah, people have actually 50-50 on who might actually take the W. And Man City, on the other hand, have slipped up here and there, in December and January,
Yeah.
and those being the reasons, or the defensive woes of Man City. So when I say when the tables have turned, it's not like Real Madrid is here now and Man City has no chance of winning. What I'm saying is that Real Madrid have probably upped their chances in the eyes of the people, and probably Man City have lowered their chances a bit. So, what is your prediction, keeping that in mind?
I'm looking. I think it's gonna be a draw. It's gonna be a 2-2 draw. I have.
2-2.
Yeah, I have a feeling
Wow.
it's gonna be 2-2 draw. It would be a Man City thing, and this is what I've seen for years. It would be a Man City thing to either start on the front foot, hit you
Mm-hmm.
guys with two fast goals, and you guys will be like, "What? What has happened?" But
Yeah.
as I said, it will be a Man City thing to do that. Then just start playing badly, and you guys hit us back with two goals, and that's it. Um, or it would be a popular Man City thing that happens most in the Champions League, where you guys hit us with two fast goals and we have that face like, oh my God, it's over. Then we go back and hit you with a 2-2. So I'm going for a 2-2. I think it also depends. I think whoever starts like very hard and takes their chances might actually break the other team, but I doubt it. If it's us, I think Madrid have got the experience and excuse me and togetherness for them to actually come back. Let's say even if we are three nil up or something, I think Madrid are one of those teams that can still come back from that. That's what I know because you guys somehow every time something happens in the Champions League, you're always
Yeah,
able to come back.
Champions League somehow, when it's the Champions League, somehow Real Madrid just happen to turn their God mode on for some reason.
I,
So
I,
I think
I think 2-2. I'm going 2-2. I don't know about you, but I'm going 2-2. What's your
okay. So
prediction?
what I would say, I don't know. This is like I'm so confused between a 2-1 and a 1-1, and 2-1 to Real Madrid.
Oh yeah,
Now,
man.
being that, why I think this might probably be, what I think is that Real Madrid in the past few seasons have been that kind of team who doesn't defend well. I'm going to be honest. They're a team. They used to be a team that did not defend well, and now they were until Real Sociedad happened. They were like one of the teams who defended beautifully until that point in the season. Actually, I think there was this statistic, if I'm not wrong, where they were the team to concede. They were the only team who conceded more goals than Liverpool. I mean, they stand at second in the least goals conceded or something like that. So
Yeah,
for me to see something like that, that's a massive, defensive, improvement for Real Madrid, if you'd ask me. But uh, well, I don't think you say Man City, Real Madrid 2-2. I don't think it'll be a 2-2. For reasons being,
hmm
I don't think Real Madrid is going to concede more than one goal, I feel. Because the last time we conceded, like, really, we defended really bad was when we had Marcelo. We had Marcelo, and we did not have Casemiro. And
Oh,
now we have we have a brick wall. We have Farlan Mendy on the left, and we have Casemiro in the center. So this is like a massive step up when it comes to our defensive game. And I don't think Real Madrid will try and compromise on their defensive game, because away goals, one away goal can change the damn game. It can change a lot of factors.
it's true.
one
Yeah,
away one away goal is enough to kill the game. So when it comes to the defensive approach, I think Real Madrid will surely be on point for this. And yeah, I don't think Real Madrid is going to concede more than one goal. Now, probably why I think they might concede that one goal is probably the occasion getting to them, is what I feel. So, m- like I'm confused. Half of me says it's a 1-1. Another half of me says Real Madrid is going to take the W, but it'll be a 2-1.
I don't know. Let's just hope for it to be a good game. But
Yeah,
I say
that, yeah, for sure. Again, but I don't think there'll be any doubt about not having a good game. Real Madrid versus Man City, two really amazing. These guys are heavyweights. These guys are heavyweights right now, and this is the best fixture of the season so far, in my opinion, and even the best fixture of the round of 16.
it
And
is. The rest
sure,
of the it
yeah,
is.
for sure, it's it's like it's going to be a good match, man, regardless. And I really, hope that Real Madrid takes the W. But again, I don't know. Anything can happen. This is see what I tell to most of the guys out there is that it's a Champions League game. Anything can happen.
Mm,
Champions League, anything can happen. You can't go outright and say that, oh, this is us. Okay, there are higher probability and all of that, but this is literally one of those types where you can't really say for a
yeah.
200% sure that yes, we are going to win. This is not those type of games. So yeah.
That is
Now, I'd like to, address other issues because we're just like half an hour away from kickoff.
okay.
Before we close, what I would like to ask is about the other fixtures, and I want to know who do you think will progress and why. So, starting off with Atletico versus Liverpool, we've seen the first leg. We've seen the first leg. What happened? One Atletico pulling off the most surprising 1-0 victory because I did not. Dude, the other 2 or 3 weeks ago they lost to Cultural Leonesa. So for them to win against Liverpool, the Liverpool that is unbeaten in the Premier League, this is a massive step up. Atletico probably is like, the people's winner, if anything, out of that fixture. Because at the moment, Liverpool is winning a lot, and people want Liverpool to lose, except Liverpool fans. So, okay, so coming to the matter, Atletico versus Liverpool, first leg is done. The second leg is still upon us. What do you think will happen?
Ah, you know what? I know that Liverpool is going to win the game, but something at the back of my mind says Atletico are very defensive, like very defensive. They don't like looking at the record. They don't get beaten by a lot of goals. I've seen that, especially
Hmm.
in the Champions League. So I,
But to be
mm,
honest, they actually do. But those are sides which have Cristiano Ronaldo as their opponent. Those are because it seems there's a very interesting statistic. So it apparently is like Diego Simeone has never been eliminated by a team which has Cristiano Ronaldo as their opponent. So that's that's pretty sick. I mean, I don't know. So probably it's like Diego Simeone has gone against Real Madrid a bit too often, is what I see from all of this. But again, what I think is that personally, Liverpool will probably progress. Anfield is not a place where you can sit, sit at your back line and just defend, defend, defend.
yeah,
Anfield is not like that. It'll give you the atmosphere. It'll be on you constantly, and I think Anfield will give that push definitely to their players, and I think Liverpool will probably progress through the tie.
yeah, I think they will.
So
Yeah.
that
So
is my,
yeah.
yeah.
What
So
about
you
what
know,
about Dortmund? Dortmund and PSG.
Dortmund PSG. Uh, so I want Dortmund to win for sure. I want Dortmund to win, but PSG already have the away goal, so that's pretty risky for Borussia Dortmund. I mean, can they actually hold PSG in Paris? I don't really know, but having said that, last season Manchester United literally scored 3 goals at Paris.
Yeah.
So,
So that's true. So with this Haaland guy who's scoring
oh,
goals like nothing,
oh
I
I
I
can't
believe
believe,
I
man.
believe it's going to be open at PSG. I think it'll be goal for goal, and I don't know who's gonna come through that tie. That's a difficult tie. I don't know who's gonna come through, but I believe PSG are gonna ship some goals in. Are going to ship some goals. So like
I'm like really not. I'm like really not very certain about who might come on top in that fixture, because the thing is, Dortmund can do it, but the thing is again, PSG already have the away goal. That's the away goal can change a lot of stuff, man. The
Don't
away,
forget. Let's remember this. I know it's Barcelona and everything, but remember there were four
that's
goals. Uh,
crazy. That's crazy. I mean,
so
literally 4-1, and I mean, 2 years ago, Roma
yeah.
4-1 to a 3-0. So I'm telling you, the away goal is will matter for sure. The away goal is, oh my god, the away goal is the kryptonite to many teams, man.
It will.
So
It will. So okay, so let's predict that one. I think I'm picking Dortmund. Dortmund will make it.
so I think Dortmund will do it as well.
Yeah, I
Uh,
think they will. I think if Haaland
so
isn't injured, he'll get to G.
So before we go to the other predictions, so I'm looking at the comments right now, and people are asking about Juventus versus Leon. What do you think that'll happen? What do you think? I'm looking at Juventus being the clear winner of this fixture. They will come out on top easily. I think it's pretty easy for them to come out on top. I don't. I think this what I feel out of the whole round of 16 fixtures, Juventus versus Leon is probably the most easiest fixture you can ever get. So that's
Uh, I wouldn't say. I'm okay. The thing about Leon, they play as a team. That's
hmm
what I believe, and I don't think Juventus play as a team. I think they still play as individuals, and it's like just a collection of retired.
yeah. There is that thing.
I
There is
call
that thing.
I
There
call
is
them
that thing
retirement
where
home.
they play. Where they're being too reliant on Cristiano Ronaldo nowadays. So that's being the one issue. And having said that, we have Ray here. He just joined the stream. So
Hi guys, how you
So
doing?
how you doing, Ray?
How we doing?
We're doing well, Ray. How are you doing?
Have you got the football on in the background? Is that me?
no, that's you.
That's you. We had everything.
Is that me? I
I
tell
think,
you what, I always do.
I think that's
There
you,
you
Ray.
go.
That's you.
Yeah, it's me. I left it on my last stream. How you doing, guys? Have you seen the team?
Yeah, we were discussing the team
Yes, we have.
days ago. Um,
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
I,
for
I,
when I speak for Real Madrid, I think Cruz's exclusion has really surprised me, because Cruz has done really well in the past, and Cruz not being there is a huge surprise for me. I'm just curious to see what actually happens. But I mean, when it comes to Man City, I mean, you guys are the experts. I mean, you guys should tell what you feel will happen for this game when it comes to Man City. I mean, we've already heard Patrick. He already said what he thinks will happen. Ray, I
Mm.
want to hear it from you as well. What you think Man City will approach this game? How they'll approach this game as
Okay.
well?
I say namaste to all the viewers out in India. Big hello
Yeah,
to you
thank
guys.
you.
It's really hard.
Yeah.
It's really difficult, because on there's a couple of choices that Pep's made that a lot of fans aren't happy with. The fact that he's picked Otamendi and not Fernandinho, the fact
hmm
that Gundogan and Rodri are playing together, and Fernandinho's not even anywhere. I can understand on one hand why he's not put Fernandinho in midfield, because he's not played there all season. But I bet you he's still a better defensive midfielder than Rodri, having not played
hmm
there all season. So I'm a bit puzzled by that. I'm not puzzled by Gabby Jesus. I just think we're going to need a lot of legs. We're going to need people who are going to run around a lot up front to close down. And Gabriel Jesus will do that a lot more than Aguero will. I think
And
Bernardo will do the same on the
I
wing.
also like
Mahrez
expect
too.
Manchester City to start pressing like real fast right away. They'll go for the kill is what I expect. So like you said, having the legs is like really important in order to start that strong and that fast. So I think
Well,
yeah, go ahead.
absolutely. I know, I was absolutely. We saw it was a few years ago now when we played against Barcelona,
hmm
and we saw it was a great Barcelona team, but under pressure, City picked on a man, they pressurized him, Barcelona made mistakes, and City got the goals to win the game. And I think it's a similar opportunity here. Real Madrid, I suspect they want to pass the ball around and
That's what I think
leisurely
as well.
advance
That's
up the
what I
pitch.
think as well.
Yeah.
Because
And I
they
think Gabriel Jesus,
yeah, go ahead,
I was going to
Gabriel
say,
Jesus.
Gabriel Jesus' task tonight is not necessarily to score goals. His task is to press the defenders into making mistakes. Aguero doesn't do that as much anymore. He hasn't got the legs. He's still got a decent amount of pace, but he hasn't got the stamina to do that for 60 or 70 minutes consistently. And I think that's what Gabriel Jesus will bring. Bernardo will do the same. And Mahrez has no choice but to do the same because we've got Raheem Sterling waiting to come on. If anybody's letting us down, then Raheem Sterling, I think, will come on and take over early in the second half.
Yeah, that's true. And even for I can see why Manchester City probably went with this kind of lineup, because now I can see why Real Madrid also went with this, with a 4-4-2. What I predicted before the game was a 4-4-2 or a 4-5-1, because having more midfielders in this game, this is like for me, literally, this is like a midfield battle at the end of the day. Manchester City has amazing midfield. Real Madrid has midfield has been doing bits lately. They've been doing excellent. Until the last few games, they were really excellent. So what I feel is that this is definitely that battle of the midfield. And like you said, Real Madrid would want to keep possession like constantly. Have the ball a bit more than Manchester City. Obviously, be a bit more resistant to the counter press that Manchester City bring to the table. So yeah, again, but what I asked Patrick as well earlier is that what I felt was before, so Kyle Walker is like another alternative to João Cancelo, and Kyle Walker's inclusion in this team, I feel that probably could have been another alternative to Cancelo, because but now Real Madrid is not really starting with wingers here. We don't have. I mean, we'll have Vinicius on the left, but you'll not really have Real Madrid playing out wide. So why not play Cancelo instead of Walker? Because Walker brings that pace and that strength on the right. Agreed for sure, but when you know that Real Madrid is here to maintain constant possession and not really play with a lot of width, which I believe will happen as the game progresses much later into the second half, is what I believe. But why not Cancelo?
But the thing is with Cancelo, before the game, you don't know how Real Madrid are going to line up. You might have an idea about their formation and the actual players they're going to use, but obviously you don't know exactly. They're not going to, slip your piece of paper with all the team. Cancelo, the thing about Cancelo, most of the games he's played this season have been in the cups. So he's played, I think, only 10 games in the league for City this season. And I bet you he's not started more than a handful. I can't believe he would have started many games at all. So he's not played enough. And if he's only played in 10, that means Walker has featured, off the top of my head, in just the league, Walker must have featured in at least 20 of the league games. So he's got to be your first choice. And I think defensively, Pep's got to keep it. We've got to keep it clean at the back. I was chatting to the guys on my channel and said, you look at some of where in the Champions League games we played, the last 3 seasons with Pep, against Monaco, we let in 6 goals over 2 legs. You can't win a Champions League game if you're letting in 6 goals. Against Liverpool, we let in 5 goals. In fact, we let in 3 goals in the first, 35 minutes at Anfield. The tie was over. Against Spurs, we still let in, 4 goals against Spurs?
5 goals. I think it was 5-4 or 5-3 on aggregate, I believe.
Liverpool?
No, the Tottenham game. The Tottenham game last season.
The Tottenham? No, we lost it.
4-3, was it?
We lost 1-0 down there, and I can't even remember the score up here, but we had that chance to win it right at the death. So they still scored 3 goals.
And I very well remember that last Raheem Sterling's goal getting denied. That was like really painful to watch.
So my point was we've been letting in far too many goals. Now, having looked at Cancelo, having heard reports about him and seeing him this season, that he's not as good defensively as Walker. He might be better going forwards, but as a defender, I think Walker's clearly better. And I think we need that. We need Walker's pace for their speedy wingers, and we need Walker's defensive abilities, because I think it's crucial. We can't, like I said in the Liverpool game, we 3-0 down after 35 minutes. You're going out. We can't afford Real Madrid to do that. So we've got to, that's it, 4-3 against Tottenham overall, but they got through on the away goals. My point was we were letting too many goals, basically 6 against Monaco, 5 against Liverpool, 4 against Spurs over 2 legs. It's way too many. So maybe we have to be a little bit more conservative, and that's why you put someone like Walker in to make sure they don't score.
Do you think this risk of that Manchester City has been witnessing for the past few seasons, especially in the Champions League, do you think this is because they risk of playing a very high backline, because they play a very high backline, Manchester City? Do you think it's a result of that?
I don't know. I think we'll still play that same high backline. I don't think it's just that. Without going and looking at all the goals, all 15 goals that were scored against us in the last 3 seasons. The one that sticks, some of them were on the break. I mean, Liverpool did us on the break. I don't think that was simply due to the high line. And then the Ox hit one from about 25 yards. So that wasn't because of the high line. I think it's a mix, but it's a really difficult one to gauge what is the right way to do it. Is it, as Thomas Muller said, is Pep overthinking it? Does he think too much about the opposition and not enough about your own qualities? But we've also seen, like you said, most games are won in the midfield. Yeah, if someone's going with a 2-man midfield, someone else has got a 3. The 3 can easily overpower the 2. So I think both teams are focused on the midfield. City will let Mahrez and Bernardo drop back when we need to, and we'll have a 5. At some points we'll have a 5-man midfield. We will end up 4-5-1. I actually thought Pep might go for a 3-5-2 and pack the midfield, but with Bernardo's going to go up and down. I'm sure he's got the energy, same as Mahrez, up and down that pitch. It's that, like you said, it's the midfield where it's probably going to be won. And
this is literally the midfield battle for both teams. Both teams, it's like if someone's going to win the game, it will probably be because of their respective midfields. That's what it's going to stand at. Like, now, before I close the stream, I just wanted to know what your prediction is for the game. I mean, we're just like 13 minutes before kickoff right now. So what's your prediction? What do you think Manchester City will be at the end of the game?
I'd be happy with one. I'd be happy with a score draw. Honestly, I don't want it to be 0-0. That's a scoreline I really don't like. In the old days, people used to say, "Oh yeah, you get a 0-0 away from home. It's great." I don't think so, because straight away,
you have no away goals.
Sorry,
you wouldn't have any away goals. That's the thing. And we were just
away goal. I don't want 0-0. That's for me. That's a terrible score, 0-0, because Real Madrid score 1 goal. You need, in Manchester, you need 2. So I would want it to be at least a score draw. If we lose 2-1, that's acceptable, because you only need to score 2 goals back at home. And if it's 2-1 back home, then it's extra time. But drawing a game 0-0 and then Madrid scoring Manchester, you need to. I just don't like that feeling and how it will affect you mentally. Because you're always on edge.
We were also, I mean, before you came on, we were actually talking about how an away goal literally changes a lot of stuff. The way you play, the demeanor in both teams, it changes by a mile. There's a lot of difference of how teams play when they concede an away goal, and I think that away goal is, it's really crucial for Manchester City coming into this game.
When we played Spurs last season, I've said it many dozens of times, and I maintain that if Sergio Aguero had scored that penalty, we would have won the tie, because that away goal, it changes everything. the best Spurs could have done was get a draw. I think would have got a draw. They'd have been under pressure. They'd have had to come at us at home, and that would have opened them up. And we were quite defensive last season for that tie against Spurs, and we could have scored another if they're pressing because they won that goal. It changes the whole dynamic. And if we'd gone away from there winning 1-0 or drawing 1-1, I think mentally it totally changes things around. Because when we let a goal in against Spurs back in Manchester, it really affected us. You could see us making Laporte. Who could foresee that Laporte would make such massive mistakes? He'd been so good. But I think some of it's the mentality. So if we can go away from here, getting an away goal, then the mentality is with us. Because then Real Madrid know, especially if we can score first, they know they've got to then come back and beat us. They can't afford to, to lose at home. They want to, and if we get an away goal, they've got to really come at us. And that obviously gives us opportunities, maybe in the second half, to bring people like Sergio on for his pace, bring people like David Silva on to control that game. And Sterling, I think in the last 20 minutes, if it's a draw, bringing someone like Sterling on, that could easily change the game. If Sterling's got his shooting boots and he's back to even half the form he was in the first few games of the season, I think that could make the difference to tie the legs from Real Madrid.
Yeah. Well, now having said that, I'm gonna close the stream right now because we are just like 10 minutes away from kickoff, and we're in for one hell of an experience, is what I believe. And thank you very much, guys. Thank you very much for watching the stream. And thank you, Ray and Patrick, both of you, for putting aside a bit of your time for this. I'm really, really grateful. And thank you very much, and good night.
Good night, guys.
Thanks, guys.